So we are here today in our kitchen doing a new series, first episode of the new series. It's called the Holy Grail of whatever we're making. So let me explain it. So what we're going to be doing is taking a relatively simple, like iconic dish from a certain cuisine or a certain style of cooking, and we're just going to make our version, our best version of that dish. And we're going to call it the Holy Grail of tacos, the Holy Grail of hot dogs, the Holy Grail of hamburgers, whatever it is. We're just going to give you our best, our most highly favored version that we can make. So I'm excited to start. I think it's going to be great fun for you guys all to follow along, and we can see where we go. So let's get started. Today we are going to be making the Holy Grail of my favorite red sauce, the Holy Grail of red sauce for pastas. We're going to be making Bucatini amatriciana, very traditional Northern Italian sauce. It's got some bacon, obviously tomatoes, salt, pepper, garlic, onion, super simple, but one of the most flavorful sauces that I think I've ever made, tried, all that good stuff. We are going to be starting with 5 slices of thick cut bacon. You can do however much you really think you want in the sauce, but a good ratio that I go by is right around 2 slices per person. So I'm just going to line these up and just go right down, making small little bits. All right, so now that our bacon is cut, we're gonna go ahead and toss it into our saucepan here over low heat. And we're gonna render that out just very slowly. It's gonna take a few minutes until it gets really crispy and all of the fat in the bacon has rendered out. No need to season it or put any extra oil in there or anything. You just wanna make sure that you have a nice, even, flat layer on the bottom, so everyone's getting equal opportunity in the pan. Okay, the bacon is in, sizzling away. Again, make sure there's no seasonings or olive oil or anything like that in there. You just want to let it go low and slow until everything gets really nice and crispy. So while that's going, we're going to get started on our onion and garlic. And you want to make sure that you have your pot of water on and getting up to temperature, just so we're not waiting for ages for that to come up. So I'm going to go ahead and turn mine onto high heat, just to get that going as quick as I can. And never forget to salt your water. So I'm going to go in with a pretty decent amount of salt, as you can see. A good way to test it is just going in there with a spoon real quickly, and you almost want it to taste like ocean water, like salt water. Let's get started on our onion. So for this recipe, I'm gonna be using just about half of a medium onion, medium yellow onion. So just cut the sides off. Go ahead and peel it as you normally would. And we're just gonna do a small dice. I'm just gonna make my slices right down here. Not all the way through, but probably about 90 to 95% of the way through the onion. And you should end up with something that looks like this. Take your knife and go slice into it just about 95% of the way as well. And you're gonna do that 1 or 2 times depending on how thick your onion is. And then once you have that, you'll start to see some pieces fall off. That's totally okay. What we're gonna do now is just go down and make slices just as you would normally, and you should have a really nicely beautiful dice. We just have a really nice, even dice without doing too much work. And then once you get to the end, you'll have like a little piece like this. Usually what I like to do is just go over it really quickly, break it down, just get it relatively the same size as the rest. Don't have to stress too much about it. Keep an eye on your bacon. Stir it around every now and then. Make sure you're not having any pieces that are burning to the bottom. I can definitely see a lot of that fat coming off already, which is really nice. As it cooks, you'll start to see more and more of the fat come up. It'll almost envelop all of the bacon. And so what that's gonna do is really help crisp that bacon up. Just like little bits of just amazing little fat pieces. But for the garlic, I'm just gonna be using 1 relatively large clove or 2 smaller cloves, whatever you got. Go ahead and smash it on your cutting board to release the skin, and it should peel off really easily. Look at that, one piece. Get rid of all the garlic paper. I'm getting myself all kinds of dirty. All right, so all I'm gonna do with the garlic is just really nice thin slices right down the whole side of the garlic. So once you have that, just go ahead and toss it in with your cut onion. So that's ready to go. All of the grease and all of the fat from the bacon has nicely rendered out, and it's starting to envelop the bacon really nicely, as you can see in here. Everything's just really nice and crispy. So what I'm gonna do is just take a slotted spoon, and I'm gonna take all of the actual bacon pieces out, but I'm gonna leave behind that grease, because that grease is gonna really help build that sauce and add that kind of like extra layer of flavor in there. So I'm just gonna take this out and into a little container. Once we have all of our bacon out, we're gonna go ahead and leave the pan on low to medium low heat. Set that bacon aside, and we're gonna toss in our chopped onion and our chopped garlic, just right into the pan. So we're gonna season it with some salt and pepper once we have our onion and garlic in the pan. I don't have specific amounts for this. It's really like to taste and what your palate likes and doesn't like. So just play around with it. Always do a little bit less than what you think. And you can always add more if you need to. So salt and pepper, and then I like to put a little bit of heat in mine. So I'm gonna do some red pepper flakes in there. Just adds a really nice kind of like underlying heat. All right, so we have our onion and garlic in with our salt, pepper, and red pepper flakes. So we're just gonna let that saute and simmer for a little bit. You want the onions to become just very translucent. You don't wanna caramelize them or anything. Just kind of let the fat from the bacon and the sweetness of the onion really come together and react nicely. So that should only take, 2-3 minutes max. And then once that's done, we're gonna go ahead and put our canned tomatoes in and let that simmer for just about 35-40 minutes or so. And then we're all set, that's it. But just make sure you're only buying canned tomatoes. Like, don't buy canned tomato sauce or canned pizza sauce or canned like red sauce or whatever it is, because then they start to add in all these different seasonings and herbs and spices that may not go with the sauce that you're making. So always just make sure you're buying just plain canned tomatoes. Our onion and garlic is sauteed down nicely, starting to get really translucent, and the smell in here is just incredible, let me tell you. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna take 1 full can of my crushed tomatoes, and I'm gonna pour it right into the sauce. So once that goes in there, usually what I like to do is you always have a lot of this tomato residue left in your tomato can, so I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of water and rinse that tomato off the side of the can, and I'm gonna put that back into the sauce. So we're putting the rest of our tomatoes in. We're gonna go ahead and give that a stir, get everything nice and combined. Looks beautiful. The sauce is a little bit on the oily side, but that's totally okay because I think it complements the pasta really well, and we're gonna add in a little bit of pasta water to help counteract that. All right, so the sauce is coming together. Everything's really nice and simmering in there. You may wanna hit it with just a little bit more salt and pepper because once you put the tomatoes in, which aren't really seasoned, that's gonna dilute the previous seasoning that you have, so just make sure you supplement with a little bit more of that. And we're letting this water come up to temperature, and as soon as that does, we're gonna go ahead and put our pasta in. Because hopefully by the time that this pasta is done cooking, this sauce will be done as well. I want to introduce you to Mr. Bucatini, one of my favorite all-time pastas. It is a very thick cut spaghetti, and it has a hole in the middle, so it's actually hollow through the middle, which really aids in picking up all that beautiful kind of like meaty, porky sauce that we're making. And so I'm gonna go ahead and toss in my Bucatini. My sauce is simmering away. Smells beautiful. Make sure you taste it every now and then to make sure you need to adjust your seasonings at all. But you're just gonna let that go, let that kind of chill out, mix it every now and then, and we're gonna boil our pasta. I like to cook mine to al dente, which in Italian just translates to like to the tooth, so it has a little bit of a bite to it. And with Bucatini, since it is on the thicker side, it's definitely thicker than like a spaghetti or linguine. It's probably gonna take a full 9 to 10 minutes, somewhere in there. But again, play it by ear. Do your normal, take one out, taste it, see where it's at. So our pasta is done. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that burner off so it doesn't overcook. I'm gonna take just about a 1/4 cup of my pasta water, a ladle somewhere in there. Just don't do too much. I'm gonna put it right into my sauce. I'm gonna give that a good mix. And what that water does is it helps, it combines with the fat in the sauce already, and it emulsifies it a little bit so you don't have a super oily sauce. But that's really all needed. So that looks great as it is right now. Make sure you taste it. Any final seasonings, do that now. And what I'm gonna do very quickly is just drain our pasta off, and we're gonna put it right into our saucepan. Oh, here's the fun part. Go ahead and give that a good mix. Get all those noodles, oh my God. The Italians would kill me. All that pasta incorporated in the sauce. Make sure it's all mixed up. And we're gonna let this sit in the sauce for just a minute, and while we're waiting, we're going to hit it with some lemon juice and a little bit of grated cheese in here as well, and then we'll garnish it on top with the bacon and some more cheese. We're just gonna cut it in half and I'm gonna juice it. I like to juice it over top my fingers because I get to catch the seeds at the same time while letting all the juice through. And then what we're gonna do now is hit it with a little bit of grated Pecorino Romano. So all I'm gonna do is just take my block of cheese here. I have my grater. I'm just gonna go right over top and grate it right into the pot. Go in and mix all that cheese around in your pot. What that's gonna do is also kind of help thicken the sauce just a little bit and really do that final finish of bringing everything together. All right, y'all, so that's it. Let's plate. And I like to be pretty dramatic with this, so I'll go really high up to just really let the cheese drape over the whole bowl. Done and done. Looks beautiful. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of black pepper. And that's it. Bucatini amatriciana. That is my Holy Grail recipe. It's really one of my favorites. I honestly can't wait to dive into this bowl. Make sure when you make it, take some pictures, leave a comment with anything you did differently. You can definitely do some variations of this if you want. But I want to hear your feedback. I want to know how it went. Make sure you do all of the fun little things that you already know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you want for future Holy Grail videos in the comments below. We have some ideas for what we have coming up, but as with every other content creator, we always run out of ideas at some point, so we kind of rely on y'all to make that happen. Yeah, so we will be uploading every Monday, and that's it. So, thank you. I'll see you soon.